Wow, look who's back. Haha. Hi, yes, hello, welcome to the Super Ultra Mega Vlog. Alright, so basically I've been missing for the past 3 weeks because these have been the worst 3 weeks of my life. So let's start off with video production, because that's always everyone's favorite topic. We had to film 3 student films, and they were all at Civic House, and it was utter chaos, and it was not fun in the slightest. But now that whole filming part is over, and now we're moving on to editing, which is just all me by myself doing work, so that's better. I don't have to rely on anybody else now. So video production is pretty much figuring itself out because we're almost done. Yeah, there's been a lot of big changes that have happened. I pretty much came back from fall break and reworked my whole entire life. I'm dropping my film major. Surprise! Because I don't really think it's worth it. I'm gonna get a lot more experience with film, actually being on a film set and doing internships during the summer and everything, than I am coming to a school and paying a lot of money to learn about it. Because, I mean, I've been taking this class for almost 3 months, and he hasn't even taught us how to use a camera yet. And we literally have been wasting our time on, like, all the worst, least important stuff. So, but story structure is great. I love Sorensen. Like, she's the best. But then, and audio production's been great, too. It's literally just been video production that sucked. And I look at, like, other people. Like, I've read so many articles and they're like, don't go to film school, it's not worth it. And now I'm experiencing that, so I'm not a film major anymore, haha. Tenor sax dropped out of the jazz band, and they were like, oh, if you know anybody that plays a saxophone, you should get them to join our jazz band. And of course, Eric's like, I know somebody. And, you know, Dr. Professor Hurley is like, who is it? And Eric's like, she was in All-State Jazz. And Hurley's like, get her here. So now I'm in jazz band. And we have a concert. Oh my gosh. It's on the 19th. And that is in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have a week. Oh my gosh. And then we have a choir concert, and I'm sick, and that's a whole nother story. The student films are done being filmed. I'm not going to be a film major anymore. I joined jazz band. I auditioned for Newsies and scared the crap out of everybody with my audition, but then I didn't get cast, so that's fine. And then I had Nats, which is like this singing college kid I don't even know what Nats stands for, but I just did it. It's like solo and ensemble for college kids. And I did that. And I sang, and it was great, and then on Saturday, oh my gosh, I woke up with a sore throat, and I was like, okay, it's fine, like, I don't have to sing or anything anymore, I just need to be here to, like, support people, so I don't need to, like, you know, whatever. I was like, I'll be fine. So I took some ibuprofen, so I'm like, it'll help. And then at 1 o'clock that day, I seriously felt, like, woozy, and my head kind of hurt, and my throat was a little more sore. Then I was like, okay, this isn't working very well. I like laid on the ground, and I was like, I'm just gonna take a nap. And Grace Wilson comes over and like touches my forehead. She's like, girl, you have the flu. Lay down and don't get up. And I was like, okay. Well, then they all leave to go watch our finalists, and so I'm all alone on the floor in this random building that's an hour and a half away from Northwestern, and I start shivering. Like, you know how people shake when they get, like, seizures and stuff? Yeah, that's how bad I was shivering. I had goosebumps all over my body, and then I called my mom, and I'm like, Mom, I'm about to die. Like, help me. And she's like, I don't know what to do. Like, you just have to find people to help you. So I look over at Jordan Brown, one of our finalists that's about to go on. He's the only one there. And I'm like, hi, yeah, do you have Tylenol or ibuprofen? He's like, no. And so he was like asking people, but of course nobody has it. And I'm like, we're all vocalists here. Why do we not have drugs? He couldn't help me, which was fine. I don't blame him. So I crawl to the bathroom because I can't get up. And in there is one of our accompanists for you know, the thing, Sonia Grimes, bless her heart, she's amazing. And she was like, you are seriously dying. And I'm like, yeah, I know. And I'm like hyperventilating and it's all great and fine. And then Clarissa comes in and she's like, oh, what do I do? And I was like, get my water. And then this other lady's like, what can I do? And I'm like, find me some drugs. So I had water and like drugs. And then Sonia Grimes was like, this is too scary. I'm calling the EMTs. So then the campus EMTs come, they bring me into the basement. And then like the official hospital EMTs come and they like test me for diabetes and like asthma and all this good stuff. And they calm me down and I'm like still shaking. And then they throw this blanket on me and I'm like, on fire, but also freezing cold at the same time. Yeah, it sucked. And it was terrifying, and everyone was like, I mean, oh my gosh, it was the scariest thing ever. So then, everyone was kind of happy, because that meant we got to leave Nats early, so no one actually got to see the finalists perform because of me. After that, so then the EMTs put Johnny Mueller. Okay, so Johnny drove me back, and his car was like a sauna. Like, we had the heat up all the way. I was laying in the passenger seat with a blanket over me, and I'm like shivering still. And like Johnny and Clarissa have like their coats and scarves off. Like Clarissa's literally wearing like a crop top and is like sweating in this car, and I'm like freezing because I'm like dead. They get me Tamiflu because my doctor ordered some for me from Iowa. They got me my drugs, and like Jenny came and got me and like took care of me and stuff, and I would just kind of laid in my bed and I was like throwing up, and it sucked. I was by myself in this dorm for the whole weekend, throwing up and calling my mom while I'm having to deal with all of the chaos that's going on in our student films, and like it was absolute hell. It was awful. So once that whole fiasco was over Saturday and Sunday, I was like, oh, I'm better, I'll go back to class. And so I went to school on Monday and Tuesday, and then I was like, yeah, no. Because, like, the flu was gone, but I was still sick. So, I called my mom Tuesday night, just, like, crying, and I was like, this isn't working, the Tamiflu's not helping, and I only have 2 pills left. And she's like, okay, go to Student Health Services. So on Wednesday, I go to Student Health Services, and I'm like, hi, yes, I'm, like, dead. And they're like, okay. So they check my ears, and they're like, whoa, that's bad. And then they check my nose, and they're like, whoa, that's even worse. And they check my throat, and they're like, yeah, you're sick. And I'm like, yeah, I know that. And they're like, well, we close at 2, and our doctor doesn't get here till 10, and it's like 8:30 in the morning. And I'm like, okay. So they're like, we're gonna get an RD and they're going to drive you to urgent care. I'm like, oh, that's fine. So we go to this random guy. I still don't know his name because I was in like a daze because oh my gosh, I was so unhealthy. I get to the urgent care place and they're like, sorry, we don't open till 2. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. So then he drives me to another one across town. And I get there, and there's, like, all of these really gross-smelling people that are all hacking and coughing, and they look like scary construction workers. And I'm like this little 18-year-old girl all alone in the middle of cold Minnesota while it's snowing, and I'm, like, dying. I can, like, feel ear infections starting to take over my brain. I can't hear anything. I can't talk. And I go to this lady, and I'm like, I think this is my insurance card. I don't know what's happening. I'm, like, weeping, and she's like, girl, it's okay. And I'm like, no, it's not okay. I'm all alone, and I want my mom. And she was like, she's like, girl, it's fine. Like, I want my mom, too. Like, oh, my gosh. So I wait 45 minutes to get into this doctor's office, and I start weeping in front of this nurse, and she's like, honey, it's okay. Like, I have a son that's your age. It's, like, fine. Like, you're gonna be okay. And I'm like, I know. So she's like, let me just check your ears and nose and stuff. And she's like, oh my gosh, girl. And she's like, you got fluid in that one and that one. And this is like Rudolph up in here. And I'm like, yeah, I know. I was like, give me some drugs. And she tests me for strep, puts the cotton thing in my throat, and I'm like gagging and it's awful. I wait another 15 minutes. Then the doctor comes in. He's like, hi, I'm Dr. Murphy. Or I don't even know what his name is, but it's something like that. It started with an M, and I was like, you don't have strep. He's like, but even if you did, like, I'm gonna give you some antibiotics for your ears because those are super infected. And I'm like, wow, thanks for telling me something that I already am experiencing right now. And I'm like, do you have like any drops for my ears or anything that you can put in right now since I'm in pain? He's like, no, we don't do that for adults. Are you kidding me? It made me so mad. So I'm like crying because I'm in so much pain. And he's like, just drink tea and take these drugs and then go back to class. He didn't even like, I was like, can I have a doctor's note for the rest of the week? He's like, I can give you one for today, but you should go back to class tomorrow. And I'm like, that's impossible. So I go back to the school. Well, I get drugs from Walgreens, and then I come back here, and then I call my mom again, and I'm like, I'm going to die. And she's like, I'm coming to Minnesota. So my mom drives from Iowa all the way here, books a hotel that's a block away from Northwestern, picks me up at that night, and brings me to the hotel, and, you know, gives me, like, NyQuil and everything, and, like, soup, and I'm, like, crying, like, watching movies and stuff. And then I go to sleep, wake up the next morning, and we call Dr. Lenz, and we're like, this guy sucked, tell us what we need to do. And then Lenz ships me a bunch of other drugs. I literally have, like, well, am getting over 2 ear infections, like a sinus infection, and a bronchial infection. And it was, like, all at once. So I had the flu, and then the flu gave me all of this, and it was, like, terrible. So then I got the right drugs, and I watched Friends for the first time. I watched Keeping Up with the Kardashians for the first time, and I watched The Shawshank Redemption like twice, and it was great. Oh, and we watched The Help. There was some great stuff on TV, except for Keeping Up with the Kardashians. And I got to hang out with my mom, and so like my, you know, physical health was plummeting, and my mental health was plummeting right with it, and my mom came, and now it's like slowly going upwards, so it's better. So she dropped me off back at, you know, school. I haven't seen anybody in days, and when I came back, everyone literally threw like a party because they were like, oh my gosh, Emma's back, and I'm like, but yeah, that's pretty much been my past 3 weeks. Student films, not getting into Newsies, jazz band, dropping a film major, and almost dying. Yeah, so now that I told you my life story, here's some of the clips of the positive things that happened. Eating good tonight, fellas.
You ever seen pizza in a bag?
That looks disgusting.
It's not actually pizza. It's pizza in a bag.
What? This is what I come to Hy-Vee for. Well, hey there, Skip. It's nice to meet you. Meet. We are currently having a lockdown drill, and I'm supposed to discuss what I would do in this situation. Well, look, my door is locked. What do I do now? My friends is how you survive an Eagle Alert lockdown. I hate how they ruin perfectly good grilled cheeses by throwing ham in there. I could have had a delicious grilled cheese today, but no, they had to put ham on it. With sweet potato fries? That's disgusting.
I love the fries.
That's why I'm eating a salad right now. We're over here trying to do homework and eat lunches. But of course, some construction has to go on right now. It's fine. It's totally fine. I'm not bitter, no.
Did Ashley
The most amazing thing to ever grace this campus has arrived. And you know what it is?
You.
It's the MyPillow man. And cardboard cutout for him. How does that make you feel, son?
Amazing.
That was the creepiest thing ever. Oh, this clip needs some explanation. Yeah, so I just did this thing. I was like, oh, Gavin, whenever I need to see your, pamphlet, brochure, I can never remember the name. I was like, I'll just snap and then you can just show it to me. So then he did this.
It's not a terrible.
We're here to see the 1940s Radio Hour. I'm with Jackie and Eric once again. Shout out to my haters, you know who you are. What are you thinking about the show before we see it?
I'm excited for the tap dancing and for the costumes and I don't know, just everything. I love musicals.
Eric, what do you think?
The band better be cool.
Oh yeah, they will. Well, guess where we're at again? Tucci! But Gavin thinks that this Tucci is a little less Tucci than some other Tucci's here, so I don't know. We'll talk about it later. Gavin, what are we doing right now?
We're looking for a card for Josh for his birthday.
And he doesn't know we're here. It's a secret.
It's a secret.
So we're trying
Don't
to
tell anyone.
We're trying to come up with a birthday card. So I was thinking we could get like a 9 and make it like 19 and just like add a 1 to it or something. But that seems too lame. So we might just make our own and say yeet somewhere. But I don't know. We'll see. We found more! More! We found more! Nice. Oh yes, today is Halloween, and we are currently shopping in Forever 21 to find Curtis some joggers. Like navy, Curtis?
They have yellow ones.
Wow!
Well, I like these shorts. They're great.
No, you can't get that color. You can get...
Okay. Okay. It's fine that we like just started and you started to get a freaking strike. I'm never going bowling with you again. Josh Posh, the birthday boy, Choi.
We bowling, Emma's going.
Wow.
A little freaked out right now because we're riding in the car with Johnny.
Yeah, don't get hit.
And apparently we're
sound
being
so concerned.
initiated for some reason. I don't know what's happening. Okay guys, I'm alive, but my mom's going to get me some Chipotle. Chipotle is my life. I'm staying in this sweet hotel room with lots of drugs surrounding me, and I'm inhaling all of them so that I can slowly be revived. Sorry that my vlog is 3 weeks behind. Yeah. This is proof that I really was dead. I mean, just look at this room. I've got my vape niche. I've got my 7-Up and my water. And I have lots of drugs and foods that I'm actually not eating. That's my mom's. And soup, and yeah. And I'm staying in this hotel that's a block away from Northwestern, because my mom drove all the way from Iowa to take care of me, so that's nice. Ladies and gentlemen, let's count the amount of sicknesses I have had. 1, I got the flu. 2, I have 1 ear infection in this ear and 1 ear infection in this ear. I have a sinus infection. I also have a bronchial infection. And yeah. So I'm just a hot mess. Like, comment, and subscribe. Guys, guess what? I got a vape. Vape niche! Yeah, so remember kids, if you think your life sucks, just watch this vlog. Here's the banjo music.
What?
While drinking his eggnog. It's so stupid.